2, bleak depictions of societal breakdowns, political issues, and misplaced heroism through the perspective of seriously damaged anti-heroes. Taxi Driver and Joker stand as memorable psychological thrillers and true showcases for their leads.
Suck on this.
Taxi Driver was a clear influence on Joker, but who did it all better? Who wins out when it comes down to a cab driver and a clown? It might sound like Twisted Metal.
Light 'em up, boys.
But we're talking two of the most influential movies to ever grace the silver screen, Taxi Driver versus Joker. And if you like this sort of content, why not subscribe to our JoBlo Originals channel and tell your friends who may also like this sort of content.
Do you want me to call a manager?
Oh, you don't have to call the manager. I mean, I'm just asking.
Troy!
Whether behind the wheel of a taxi cab or a clown car, let's gas up as we prepare for Face Off.
Disclaimer. No actual science was used to determine the outcome of Face Off. Your results may vary. Please do not consume Face Off if you are allergic to conjecture, opinion, or general nonsense.
Round 1, the anti-hero. Both Taxi Driver and Joker have anti-heroes at the center of the films with titles that reflect their nothingness in the eyes of others.
Well, no one's laughing now.
You can say that again, pal.
They are not Travis Bickle and Arthur Fleck, and that plays into their anti-hero qualities. Travis Bickle is a self-proclaimed
God's only man. I'm waiting for the sun to shine.
He wants to clean the streets of the scum, the dogs, the filth. Fun, more on that later. As a Marine vet with PTSD out of the jungles of Vietnam and back into the asphalt jungle of New York, there are few he can turn to. He's also built himself into delusionally believing he must save people, chiefly 2 females, campaign worker Betsy and prostitute Iris.
God damn it, don't you want to get out of here?
Arthur Fleck is a failed comic who suffers from mental illness. Think Carrot Top without the props, including schizophrenia. Tied to a mother with her own serious instabilities, Arthur feels betrayed by both family and later society. Make him laugh, he will not.
Comedy is subjective, Murray.
Both Travis and Arthur are, at their core, sympathetic. Okay, so I wouldn't suggest they commit about 90% of their actions, but the intentions are understandable. This is partly why they develop such unique fan bases. In the epilogue, Travis is hailed as a hero by the press and Iris's parents. Leading up to the third act of Joker, a mob-like following develops around Arthur, causing chaos in his name. But Travis is the more complex of the two.
You're goddamn right.
And while Fleck's anger may resonate better with modern audiences,
I'm sorry, I can't help myself. That movie has warped my fragile little mind.
Travis's is timeless. For this round, we're talking to Travis Bickle. Verdict, Taxi Driver.
You talking to me? Well, then who the hell else are you talking? You talking to me? Well, I'm the only one here.
Round 2, depiction of society. Neither the New York of Taxi Driver nor the Gotham of Joker would be anywhere near the list of most desirable U.S. cities to live in.
We were forced to come here.
By who?
Lord Farquaad. He hoofed and he puffed and he signed an eviction notice.
But they both offer bleak yet accurate reflections of the people and climate of their respective societies, even finding a path to today.
You do not realize that Taco Bell was the only restaurant to survive the franchise wars.
So?
So, now all restaurants are Taco Bell.
No way.
It's important to note that Taxi Driver was released in 1976, the bicentennial, but a flag-humping patriotic jubilee a la Rocky, also 76, this is not.
This is a dirty movie.
No, this is a movie that a lot of couples come to. All kinds of couples go here.
Set around that time, the film depicts a presidential campaign boasting a slight whiff of hope in the air and a pledge for commonality in a divided city. We are the people being Palatine's campaign slogan, but
These new buttons have "we" underlined. That reads, "We are the people." Well, I think there's a difference.
well, it's 70s New York, a time when 42nd Street stank of porno theaters, pimps, and junkies. Times Square Elmo doesn't seem so bad now, does he?
That is the scariest elbow I've ever seen in my life.
It's so bad that an insomniac cab driver wants to clean it all up. Joker is set not long after in 1981, which it should be noted is the same year of Ronald Reagan's assassination attempt. His would-be assassin John Hinckley was dangerously obsessed with Taxi Driver's Jodie Foster.
Right.
Another tie-in, Travis Bickle was partly inspired by Arthur Bremer, the would-be assassin of Governor George Wallace, while Arthur Fleck was partly inspired by Bernard Goetz, the vigilante of a famed New York City subway shooting.
Sick as a dog now. Okay.
Gotham City is no better off than the New York City of Taxi Driver. In fact, Todd Phillips based Gotham off the Manhattan of his youth. It's filled with garbage and teeming with criminals and thugs. It's also just a few years away from the crack epidemic.
Gentlemen, which brings me to my next point. Don't smoke crack.
There is a noticeable divide between the wealthy and the downtrodden, as demonstrated in the dynamic between the Waynes and, well, just about everyone else. Joker hits on something much more wide-scale than Taxi Driver, which essentially is a microcosm and focuses almost exclusively on Travis, whereas Joker shows Arthur's impact on a sect of society itself. The frustrations of the male gaze, the stepped-on, the proto-incels are on full display. Some have seen the film as a mirror of the Trump era and the divide in the country that escalated greatly during those years. Taxi Driver's vision of urban struggles in a post-Vietnam world are jarring and timeless, but one gets the sinking feeling that Joker's depiction of societal frustration and collapse may hold true just as long. Gotham takes a bite out of the Big Apple in this round. Verdict, Joker.
Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
Round 3. Themes. The themes of both Taxi Driver and Joker tie directly into its depiction of society, but each has its own themes and angles outside of those that are consistent across both films. Isolation, identity, heroism, violence, and the glorification of, and so many more. Taxi Driver is far more subtle in what it has to say. Yes, Travis's narrations plucked from his journal can be quite blunt, but that's how he writes, and so it's a useful device. But it also has something to say on feminism and the female independence. Scorsese actually called this his feminist film, and there may be something to that, as the strongest figures are the women, especially Sybil Shepherd's Betsy.
And if you want to call it a friend, you can call it a friend.
You're gonna be my friend?
Yeah.
It also explores heroism, however misplaced, and without outright saying anything about the U.S. government, shames its disregard for veterans upon coming back home.
Military record. Honorable discharge, May 1973.
Were you in the Army?
Marines.
I was in the Marines, too.
Joker also chastises the government, albeit in a far more blatant way, almost comically so, pardon the pun, but there's no reason for its issues not to be tackled that way. The main focus here, however, is the healthcare system and the treatment of the mentally ill. It also examines how victims are exploited in a public forum, as when Murray Franklin puts Fleck on the stage for national humiliation.
You just wanted to make fun of me. You're just like the rest of them.
Both films take time to explore delusions within the human psyche. Arthur imagines his relationship with Sophie, while Travis imagines the women he knows want to be saved by him. There too, of course, are the themes of isolation throughout. But really, it's impossible to put one issue or theme over the other, so for this round, it's a tie. Verdict, tie.
You did this to start a movement, to become a symbol?
Come on, Murray. Do I look like the kind of clown that could start a movement?
Round 4, supporting cast. Both Taxi Driver and Joker have incredible casts, lending support to not only the story, but the anti-hero himself. Taxi Driver's cast includes Jodie Foster, Sybil Shepherd, Harvey Keitel, Albert Brooks, Peter Boyle, and oh look, it's Martin Scorsese.
I know you must think that I'm, you must think I'm pretty sick or something. You must think I'm pretty sick. Right? You must think I'm pretty sick?
Each plays a vital role. Robert De Niro is obviously the star, but each supporting character is fleshed out and given dimension, while there is room for them to develop and earn attention outside the central performance by De Niro. Jodie Foster even became one of the youngest to be nominated for the Best Supporting Actress Oscar. Shepherd, meanwhile, was snubbed.
Boo this man!
Joker's cast features Robert De Niro, Zazie Beetz, Francis Conroy, Mark Maron, and so many more in mostly thankless roles. Other notable additions to the cast, however, include Bill Camp and Shea Wiggum as Gotham City police detectives, while Glenn Fleshler and Lee Gill play Arthur's co-workers who shine in a gruesome yet pivotal scene.
You were the only one that was ever nice to me. Yeah.
However, Joaquin Phoenix is the star of the show, and there's almost no other consideration for the supporters. De Niro gives a fine, useful turn, as do Beetz and Conroy, but there was no chance of any of them would get recognition outside of what Phoenix was doing. For this round, we're going with Betsy, Irish sport wizard, and that dweeb Albert Brooks played.
Forgot sexy.
Man, I did not forget sexy.
Listen to what you're saying. You sound like you're selling mouthwash.
Verdict: Taxi Driver.
And with him, I felt there was nothing, and I could sense it. And when I walked in, I knew I was right. Did you feel that way?
I wouldn't be here if I didn't.
Round 5, Robert De Niro with a gun to his head. The final acts of both Joker and Taxi Driver find Robert De Niro with a gun to his head, one real, the other a bloody finger. Let's take a quick look at the impact.
I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I spotted several big mistakes.
But how did...
You know what? Let's watch my favorite part again, shall we?
After a deadly assault on a brothel to save Iris, Travis Bickle plops on a couch and mimics shooting himself in the head with his blood-soaked finger. He even does the noise. How adorable. As far as guns and De Niro go in Joker, it's the barrel of one that Murray Franklin meets his fate, being blown away by Arthur Fleck. We were supposed to introduce him as the Joker on live television.
What's wrong with your real name?
That's what you called me on the show. A joker.
The latter is, of course, more extreme, but the bloody finger to the temple is one of the most memorable images in the entire film. For the final round, we're pulling the trigger on Taxi Driver. Verdict: Taxi Driver.
Good night. And always remember, that's
winner, Taxi Driver.
I'm standing here. You make the move. You make the move.
Through its disturbing depiction of a psychologically damaged anti-hero wading through 1970s New York, complete with a benefiting supporting cast and iconic images, Taxi Driver has beat out Joker in this round of Face Off.
What, you think that's funny?
But not everyone will agree, so where do you stand? Are you cleaning up the filth of New York with Travis Bickle, or yucking it up at Arkham with Arthur Fleck?
Do you want to tell it to me?
As always, let us know in the comments, and we'll see you next time on Face Off.
Wow.